This is Overtime with Chris Dewar, only on KHQA.
Well, this is Saturday, January 14th, and you have entered Overtime, that most hedonistic of highlight experiences where we take your favorite part of the newscast and quintuple it in size. Kind of like a buffet table made up of nothing but sinfully indulgent desserts, but the calories don't count against your waistline. For the second straight Saturday, our marching orders were extensive. Not sure we can beat the 21-game avalanche of local highlights we afforded you here last week, but there is no lack of tournament basketball or top-notch mat warfare on our docket tonight. Plus, the world champion St. Louis Cardinals caravan made their way through America's hometown and the Gem City. We start, however, on the high school hardwoods with a very difficult finish to the Quincy High two-step. What time is it? Time for an upset of the number 3 team in the state, Peoria Central. 37-all at the half. The Blue Devils doing it with defense, attacking guys in the front line from Central who were 4 inches taller on average. And look at Mike Davis after the big block by D'Angelo Dean. Davis showing some moxie, taking it to the other end, giving his team a 2-point lead. More to come right here. The Devils carving out a niche in the low blocks and some separation here behind D'Angelo Dean. Nice high post pass there from Mr. Davis to Mr. Dean. More Dean here. How about spinning off contact against the 6'10 guy for the floater? Good stuff. And then it's Mason Fairley from the wing. He had 18 points in the game, and he was very, very true. Blue Devils with a lead. They kept trying to build. The fans getting some anticipation, sensing an upset brewing in this one. Dean with the miss, but again, Mike Davis, the little hook shot over the big guys again. Blue Devils back up by 2 at this point. Back at the other direction, though, Shamar Hill would tie this thing up at the end of the third quarter, make it 50-all. Look at the defense, though. The Devils no relent in this game. D'Angelo Dean, you got to get up to get down as the Blue Devils complete the thing. They do the deal, and they beat Peoria Central to cap off a phenomenal weekend. Remember, the last 2 weeks going into the holidays weren't very good for the Blue Devils. This is a beautiful turnaround. 70-64 was your final. Meanwhile, on the road, Quincy Notre Dame going to the Bowl in Jacksonville, which has been a house of horrors of late for this program, this Raider program. Right off the bat, it is Dalton Keene. You may know him better from his football career. Got the nice mid-range jumper there. And then it's Rudy Pate. Pate the Great with 2 of his 24 points in the night. Jacksonville strong early, but here come the Raiders in this one, and it would be Alex Fitch. Wide open. You can't leave that kid there. He had a monster first quarter. More on that in a second. Then it's Alex Altmix right here coming up with the loose ball. He's going to transition, beat 2 guys at the defensive end on the other end, and kiss one off the window for the deuce. Quincy Notre Dame, how about Alex Fitch with a no-look right here? Quincy Notre Dame got 14 out of Fitch in the first quarter alone, 19 in the first half, led by as many as 10 in the first half, but Jacksonville goes to work. Right here is the big fella. He has been nicknamed by our friend Brian Webster Sasquatch. Blake Hance doing the D tonight. Great defense for him there. And then off the Andy Jackson offensive rebound and miss, it's Hance with a tip-in right there. Good night for that kid who had 13 points as well. Again, the story, though, Rudy Pate with 24. And the good folks from Jacksonville rally all the way back for the win tonight at the Bowl. Final count in this one, 61-45 in a game that wasn't even that close. Good win for Jacksonville. How about the Hannibal Pirates? They're playing the NBA schedule this week, like 5 games this week. Going to wrap up with our buddy Cody Leonard back in town, former South Shelby coach. Now at Marshall, his team, though, on the business end of a thrashing, so to speak, today. At the end of the first half, look at Jay Jones spotting up to beat the buzzer. And that guy can flat shoot it. He had himself a team-high 19 points in the day. Second half, Jones not quite on the mark to start the second half, but he was bailed out rather nicely right here. That's Christian Bubba Williams going up strong for the 3-point play. Again, Jones going to miss right here, but again, his defense has his back. That's Dalton Powell with the rebound, and look at Pravon McBride getting the contact bucket. Band-Aid and 3-point play for him. More to come right here. Dalton Powell was just lighting up in the second half. Beautiful 3-pointer from that young man right in front of your Barca lounger. More to come here. Jay Jones, as I mentioned, led the team in scoring today. This, my friends, is the takeaway, and 2 for him at the other end. Pretty stuff. Dalton Powell just kept hitting jumpers to make this thing just get a little bit further and further apart. Separation aplenty for the Hannibal Pirates today as they win big. 75-54 was your final in that ball game. Now on to the business of crowning tournament champions, starting with the Illini West Chargers, who are trying to run the table on their home floor to seize Hancock County bragging rights, loosely speaking, at least from a geographic standpoint, because you've got Keokuk in the mix, Lee County's finest. So this was basically your championship game tonight. The Chargers had the 3 going early. Nick Driscoll, nice to see him back from his dental mishap over the holidays. Good stuff for him as he knocks down the 3. Then it's Driscoll again. Nick on target tonight. Just call him Nick at night because he was that good. Kendall Clark, the big fella for Keokuk, all 6'7" of the junior, cleaning the boards right here. And then it's Johnny Dahl, fab freshman extraordinaire from the outside, knocking down the three. But you're not going to beat Illini West, at least not tonight, at their own game. Brody Gronwald, this kid has been lights out the last couple of weeks, puts the brakes on, and the bogeys fly right by him. Good stuff for him right there. Just a great, great night for the Illini West Chargers as they get the win and the Hancock County tournament tonight, winning 68-48 despite the better efforts of Kendall Clark, who has again had a great week and is starting to show up big in the low blocks, just not enough to slow down the Chargers tonight. Elsewhere, not a good night for the Liberty Eagles. Great week for Gail Thorman's ROUTT Rockets, who, as the 6th seed, end up winning the Winchester Invitational Tournament. Brant Long, you talk about big underclassmen who can play. This kid had another 18 points and 12 rebounds tonight. Actually, that's Brent Long. Had the big night, not Brent. So we're getting our Brents and our Brants confused. It is Brent Long. Brant Young is the other front court player for ROUTT. So nice win for Brent Long and the ROUTT Rockets tonight. I caught that on the fly. I'm not so dumb. Let's go on, man. We got more for you tonight. Oh, the ultimate test for undefeated Havana and Jerry Wilson, his team taking on Quincy Notre Dame. And look at Kristen Gengenbacher early on, finding that young lady, Tori Kuhn, for the early deuce off the opening tip. Sam Ellsworth going to answer. The key for Havana, what they tried to do tonight, transition threes, you can't run with Quincy Notre Dame. Just a fool's errand in this one. And Kristen Gengenbacher, no fool. She finds Jordan Frericks on the break, but still Havana trying to get this done. Kelsey Snowden knocking down the three, and then QND just does what QND does. Hits the accelerator, and it will start with Kristen Gengenbacher, who was good enough this week to make the all-tournament team. She didn't, but she played really well. How about some defense? Shannon Foley, I'm going to take that away from you. I've had enough of your tomfoolery. Hooking up at the other end with Cassidy Gengenbacher, who led all scorers tonight with 21. No, actually, it was Jordan Frericks who had 22. Cassidy had 18. Still a good night all the way around for the Lady Raiders as they get the win and the tournament title. 78-40 was your final there. Finally, one more champion to crown today. Down at the Lady Spartan Classic in North Green, Brian Bettis' crew taking on Litchfield first half. How about Katie Carmody right there? We're knocking down the three. Carmody doing some high comedy in this one for her team, knocking down jumpers right and left, at least not as far as Litchfield was concerned. She was serious business from the outside. And then it's Andrea Leitz with the breakaway bucket for the hoop there. West Central had the early lead. Litchfield, however, rallies back and takes that tournament title. Final count in this one, 42-35 in favor of Litchfield. And we, my friends, have just hit the tip of the iceberg. We've got plenty more in the way of high school highlights coming your way, as well as a complete rundown of the day's collegiate action. But up next, we hit the mats at Quincy High School for one of the most competitive wrestling tournaments you will see anywhere this season. And welcome back to Overtime, everyone. Due to very different circumstances, two of the region's brightest local wrestling stars had to sit out the Quincy High Invitational this weekend. Camp Point Central state-ranked Garrett Kessner. The good news for him is he's actually playing in the Blue-Gray National Football All-Star Game tonight in Tampa, Florida. Lucky devil. Meanwhile, on the rough side of things, Quincy High pin machine Brady Sloop is on the DL, mending a bad shoulder. So could any local product step up and represent the Tri-States on the mats with a championship today? Ooh, a great weekend brewing for West Hancock, starting with our guy Jack Lucy taking on Carlos Gutierrez of Rock Falls at 113. Lucy wastes little time gaining control of his opponent here, and then in the quest for back points, Jack is going to tilt his man into fall position. He would take a 5-0 lead at the end of the first period, and you know what? It was just a Jack Lucy kind of day. More of the same from Jack coming up here in period number 2, up 9-2. Actually, this will be period number 3, up 9-2, and he's just dragging Gutierrez around the mat at this point in quest for a pinfall victory. That was the only thing that eluded Mr. Lucy on this day, is he's not going to get the pin, as he's going to be denied at the final bell in this one. He is going to end up taking a 12-2 victory in the semifinals to become the first local of the day to advance on into the final two, which took place tonight. More on Jack Lucy's quest and on his progress in just a bit. Let's move on up in weight class all the way up to 160 pounds today. Great bout between Quincy High's Dakota Downs and Roxana's Tyler Floyd, I should say, was scoreless through 3.5 minutes. Floyd just trying to get an escape point here. It backfires on him as he thought he could, kind of ride this out. But you know what? Look at that. He is going to get back points as he gets clutched right there, Mr. Downs, and rolls him in. Back points against him. Then more to come. Floyd's starting to get desperate, and Downs is just being technical right here. He's going to stay patient. Look at this. A couple more, 2 quick back points there, and Downs was just working him. Floyd's last desperation attempt here in the third. He's going to be stymied by Dakota Downs yet again. Downs couldn't have looked any more tactical in this semifinal today. Representing Quincy High as their only semifinalist, Downs just working his way into position and getting 3 back points this time. Simply a fantastic match. Maybe one of the best we saw wrestled today or of the season by Downs. I remember Floyd from last year being a pretty cagey competitor. He had no match for Downs today, losing by decision in this one as Dakota Downs gets the win and moves on to the championship round tonight. At 170 pounds, we were guaranteed a finalist. This might have been the match of the day locally. Macomb's Matt Supernaut versus Quincy Notre Dame state-ranked Denton Eichel-Schulte. Eichel-Schulte would draw first blood with the reversal of control right here, but Supernaut not going to waste any time. Seconds later, going to get his escape and do it rather from a difficult position right there. Supernaut really cagey in this one, but he would trail 3-1 after one period. Supernaut, though, look at him working on Eichel-Schulte here, getting the cradle of death, if you will, rolling the man onto his back for 3 back points to take a 6-3 lead, and then it just kind of tipped off an avalanche of confidence and goodness for Matt Supernaut the rest of this match, because he'd simply go to work and he would do the unthinkable going down the stretch. It's just kind of a sheer force of will thing here. At the edge of the match, Supernaut working, and he would eventually pin Denton Eichel-Schulte for the win to advance on to the championship. Great win right there for Matt Supernaut, maybe the best win of his season so far. Macomb getting a little momentum. Macomb as a team, I believe, finished 9th on the day, so good win for Mr. Supernaut, and not a bad showing at all for the Macomb Bombers. Let's move you up to 195 on the day. Your surprise of the weekend, Freddie Lopez. He's taking on this fella who's just overmatched. Look at this. Working off Jeff Wilson, just turns him over and says, I've had enough of this. Gets the pin and the nice win here for him. He advances to the final. So too does Jordan Watkins of Jacksonville at 220. Taking on Derek Dingman. This is really the turning point of the match. 5 seconds left in the first period. It's Watkins getting control. He would score the 2 points just before the buzzer and eventually win a 6-1 decision. Best individual showing of the day, or at least the most dominant, came at the heavyweight division. Who else? Colton Pease breaking away. That's how quickly he gets his escape points. The big fella, I've grown weary of your shenanigans, he tells Mike Dillman of Anna Jonesboro. He's just going to flip him over and pin him for the rather decisive victory on the day. So great day for Colton Pease. It ended with a championship. As we go to the full screen, we can tell you just 2 of those guys we showed you won championships today at Quincy High. They were Jack Lucy and Colton Pease, who had to pin one of his really good friends. That would be Dylan Wirebaugh of Canton, or actually didn't pin him, beat him by decision 1-0. So congratulations to Jack and to Colton on great showings at Quincy High. We also have 3 other champions to salute tonight, all from Keokuk, as Keokuk finishes 6th at the loaded Linn-Mar Invitational in Iowa. Alex Goss is back at heavyweight and healthy once again and making his impact felt quickly. Alex Goss with the win, Dalton Jensen with the win, and Derek Rose, as always, with the win. The former 8th place finisher last season on his way perhaps to even better than that this season at Keokuk. Let's do some college basketball scores. Western Illinois' bad week gets a little worse as Southern Utah comes in, shoots the lights out tonight at Western Hall, wins 65-55. Quincy University wins despite an ankle injury very early in this game to Justin Brock. Story of the day, at least as far as we're concerned, Drake Vermillion, career-high 9 points. The Beardstown product showing up and showing up big. Elsewhere, the John Wood Trailblazers now 14-2 on the season with the win on the road at North Central of Missouri. Ripon beats Illinois College by 10, and Culver Stockton continues to struggle, giving up 78 points today to Evangel. How about the HLG squad shooting the lights out today from 3-point range? And if you're going to do that, you're going to rely on this guy, Jurgen Liko. The Trojans today 9 of 17 from 3-point range. You do that, you're going to win a lot of games, and certainly HLG did that to Williams Baptist today, shooting, I believe it ended up like 63% from 3 today, or better than that. Just an amazing day for the Blazers, or excuse me, I should say for the Trojans in this one, as you also see Abraham Arinyakino with a beautiful up and take move right there. HLGU gets the win today and wins going away from Williams Baptist. The Trojans win 83-56 with your final. Women's score today, good win for Sadie Webb in Western Illinois. Sadie Webb with 20 points today as the Leathernecks take out Southern Utah at home. Quincy University, not such a good day today as they lose to Wisconsin Parkside 53-50. Culver Stockton just can't seem to get over the hump in the second part of the year. They lose to Evangel 77-74. Also, William Baptist, a 4-point winner over HLGU. John Wood loses on the road to North Central. And Southeastern Community College gets its first win of 2012, knocking off Marshalltown by the final count in this one of 77-54. to 67 would be your final there. Well, courtesy of our good friends at KHMO Radio, the world champion St. Louis Cardinals made their annual caravan tour into America's hometown this morning to the delight of nearly 600 or more faithful fans. Now, obviously, from leadership to lineup, much has changed for the Redbirds since their trophy hoist, but the overriding sentiment today remains excitement.
You know, everyone knows we have new leadership now with Michael Beanie, but we're all looking forward to playing for him. You know, he has a great reputation, you know, as a player and as a leader, so we're looking forward to that. Anytime you lose a player like Albert Pujols, you know, you're going to have to, there's a hole in the middle of the order. But, you know, we have new management now, Michael Beanie, everybody's excited about playing for him, and I think we're excited about the guys we brought in. You know, we're getting Adam Wainwright back, and Carlos Beltran is now part of the team, so, you know, the team's excited to get going again in 2012.
One other note to pass along tonight of local interest. Congratulations to Zach Parrish of Quincy. The 18-year-old rolled an 800 series today at Casino Lanes. Easy for me to say. I'm trying to sneeze and talk at the same time. I'll do that in the break. He also had a 300 in there, so congratulations to Zach on the big weekend. This is the point of the show where I take a few minutes to sneeze, but when we come back, we are going to roll through a huge day of tournament action coming up next. Let us roll to the highlights. Third place game at the Winchester Invitational. Todd Bradshaw's team riding the Isaac Whitaker experience. Fast break layup for him right there. Then long range for Mr. Whitaker. But the story on this day for the Tornadoes, the victorious Tornadoes against Waverly, was the Clayton Myers show. The big fellow with a big deal in the low blocks. He had 29 points on the day to lead all scorers. Grigsville Perry takes third today, winning 68-56. Good weekend for the Tornadoes at Winchester. A good week, I should say, from last weekend to this. More for you. Brown County playing for 5th place against Carrollton. The big fella, Austin Gooding, the newly crowned Jacksonville Journal-Courier Football Player of the Year, with a nice inside look for Luke Gregg. Finds him and he gets the bucket. Then from the outside, Clayton Taylor had a nice day. Knocks down the three-pointer there. Jacob Schutman. Oh, look at this. Cleaning up the second chance opportunity and getting the bucket. And then more Clayton Taylor off the dribble. He's going to go and use the glass right here. Brown County, though, falls to Carrollton as Jeff Crumwoody becomes the all-time winningest coach in the history of this tournament, with the, I believe it was his 50th win today, so good for Jeff Crumwoody. Tough day for Brown County. West Central and Triopia, game of the day. Consolation Championship. Second half, Austin Bays going to work looking for Corey Barnett. West Central is trailing Triopia at this point, and Triopia wants none of it. John Love scoring on the tough finish. Big fella kissing one off the glass right here. He ain't done, nor is West Central. Trying to come back in this game. It's Bays to Barnett. These are two guys, Barnett and Love, who can just thrive in the low blocks. Triopia leading by 3. Josh Miller trying to keep them in it right here, right there for the bucket as, look at that, just good stuff right there. Tied 45-45, the game's final possession. Parker Day draws on the defense. Jordan Bays, that, my friends, beats the buzzer and wins the game, if you couldn't tell so from Mr. Bays' expression. Good stuff, Jordan Bays. Just a funny hunch. You may see that on Sensational 7 later this week, as West Central was the #1 seed coming in. They settle for the Consolation Championship. Not the week Jeff Abel wanted, but a nice way to finish it. Elsewhere tonight, Unity gets a nice win in third place at the Hancock County Tournament, beating Southeastern tonight 59-19. Also, the Pittsfield Saukeys losers to Alton at Jerseyville today by 3. Girls action third place. ROUTT Carrollton Joe Eilering's team looking for Natalie Helpin. She receives the bounce pass and hits the 3 right there. That was some great court vision here by Joanna Gross. She would find Miss Helpin all alone, and that is helping out Helpin, if you will. More to come right here. It's Rachel Langdon doing some work in this one. All ROUTT in this game as ROUTT takes third place after the disappointing loss to West Central. Not sure if ROUTT will stay state ranked. They're #9 in the state this week coming in, but a nice win for Joe Eilering's team. Let us move you on down to the 5th place game now. It is Pittsfield riding Shay O'Brien and riding her well. She scored her team's first 7 points in the second half. She's not done. 2 more for Miss O'Brien. She was a one-woman gang today. 36 of her team's 53 points on the day. That, my friends, is good stuff. Unfortunately, Laura Chamberlain and company cannot get the deed done today against Waverly as they lose in the 5th place game, 57-53. Let's go to the 7th place game because we've got a half hour and we can do that. Beardstown taking on North Green. The one final score, we did not get called in today, so we're going to guess at this one. Katie Herter waits for the miss and gets the putback right there. Then it's Miss Rollins doing some work right here. Open on the baseline for the 2, or foot was on the line, so that was all it was. Then Emily Riddle going downtown in this one and getting the bucket as well. North Green led most of the second half. We did not again get a final. North Green was leading substantially late in this game, but we still don't know, so if someone could call us with that, we'll post it to the web or something fun like that. Finally tonight, the Griggsville Perry girls trying to win the consolation bracket. Marley Jo Bradshaw, a one-woman fast break right there. She gets the deed done. And it's Rachel Smith helping out Miss Bradshaw right there. Marley Jo with the putback underneath. And how about a little Allison Bingham pulling down the rebound and scoring for Griggsville Perry, which gets the win over North Green's JV in this one. That was the fifth place in the consolation bracket, I should say. Griggsville Perry wins 37-20, which your final there. More girls scores on the day. Unity takes third place at West Hancock. Unity just a monster day on the boards. I believe between Brooklyn Moore and Brianne Begeman, between the two of those girls alone, they had 31 rebounds today. That's a monster day. West Hancock actually led this game in the first half for a little while. Unity, though, playing some great basketball, just throws the accelerator on in the second half and gets the win. Illini West holds off Macomb today, 52-50, and the Hannibal girls lose on the road at Marshall, 55-38. Was your final there, and we'll have more overtime for you after this. Well, the Missouri Tigers are a very different basketball team at home. Obviously, ask the Texas Longhorns, who got thumped today by Phil Presley and company, 84-73. Flip Presley with a double-double today, I believe, and I only got to listen to some of this game. Ricardo Ratliff led all scorers with, or at least all Mizzou scorers with 21 or 22. So good win for the Tigers back at home. Really nice win for the Iowa Hawkeyes as they beat Michigan today and beat them big time. 75-59 there is your final as well. And if you haven't heard, I assume if you're up this late, you do know, but here are your NFL scores today from the divisional series, or at least the first round of it, the first half of it, if you will. The 49ers saw Vernon Davis channel Dwight Clark tonight. Huge comeback, wonderful game as these two teams just went back and forth in the fourth quarter. One of the great NFL playoff games, I don't think it's unfair to say, of all time. 36-32 was your final there. And the New England Patriots squelched Tebow Mania tonight with a 45-10 win, as you saw right here on KHQA. It's a good week coming up next week here on Overtime. I know we have a couple of tournaments. Palmyra tournament's kicking off this week. The Meyer Classic over in Chatham, where we'll check in with the Jacksonville Crimsons, who are obviously playing some pretty good basketball. Also, early this week, we're going to catch up with Garrett Kessner, ask him about his experiences at the Blue-Gray All-Star Game in Tampa. Nice to see one of our own kind of getting some national attention. As you well know, the human muscle at Central Southeastern was a heck of a running back and certainly deserved of that. We're all out of time, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Overtime. We're going to try and break our record of 21 games next Saturday. Keep your fingers crossed for us, and have a great weekend, everybody.